To explain how to make better decisions, let us first look at the concept of time travel. In all time travel movies, the protagonist travels back and forth in the past and present with different versions of himself and his loved ones. The characters are constantly making decisions with massive consequences in the present day and in all other timelines. The lesson learned from time travel is, we don't have time, rather time has us. We're simply along for the ride. But that doesn't mean our journey is without aim. When making better decisions, utilizing your time is perhaps your most effective tool. Let's first examine the idea of time travel to discuss how to make better decisions. In every time travel film, the main character visits several incarnations of his loved ones and himself in the past and present. The choices that the characters make today and in all other timelines will have a significant impact. The lesson from time travel is that time has us, not the other way around. We are merely traveling companions. But that doesn't imply that our journey has no purpose. Utilizing your time effectively is possibly our most useful weapon when trying to make better decisions. Think of a time when you made a decision you regretted. Chances are, that decision was rushed. The more you rush crucial choices, the more likely you are to make a potentially costly error. The cruel reality is once you've made the rash decision, you'll have all the time in the world to think about what you could have done differently. However, it doesn't need to be all doom and gloom. Consider a time when you made a choice that you later regretted. Most likely, that choice was made in a hurry. Rushing important decisions increases the likelihood of making potentially expensive mistakes. The terrible truth is that after you've made the hasty choice, you'll have a lifetime to reflect on what you may have done differently. It doesn't have to be all bad news, either. Understanding time's place in your decision-making process is vital to becoming a better decision-maker. The time we have may not be as clear-cut as you might think, so working with it is the only option. Other benefits of good decision makers as we're using a time motif to become better decision makers, let's start with the obvious. To make better decisions, you must comprehend the role that time plays in the decision-making process. Working with the time we have is the only option since, as we saw in time travel, it may not be as clear-cut as you might believe. Let's start with the obvious as we're utilizing a time motif to improve our decision-making abilities. You will gain so much time by making better decisions. Let's use a less significant example where you choose to ignore satellite navigation like Google Maps and follow your own route. Soon after a few kilometers, you realize you made a mistake and must spend an additional 30 minutes navigating your way back. It's the little tidbits of time that, when lost, can eat up a day and cause unpleasant feelings of failure and waste. You have more choices and flexibility with more time you can save. Of course, by making a wise choice, you might exclude other possibilities, but because it's a smart course to take, a beneficial chance might present itself. Making wise decisions in a larger sense is an indication that you're learning from previous mistakes, which is essential for personal growth. Then there are the advantages to your work-life balance, as having a job you enjoy will ultimately make you happier in general. That can entail earning higher pay or gaining respect as a leader. Leaders must, after all, be able to make quick decisions. Particularly in Western culture, silence is feared. You'll discover that people, even complete strangers, will overshare details about their lives in order to fill the silence. When attempting to improve one's ability to make decisions, it is the first mistake. For instance, consider Chinese negotiators. According to studies, the Chinese were more at ease when bargaining with Americans while remaining silent, which increases their chances of getting the agreement they sought. It's a useful lesson because, when used properly, silence may be your best friend. The phrase, "consider before you speak," is used frequently for a reason. There are times when silence might feel unpleasant, not the least of which is the likelihood that someone will remark it and make it so. When in reality a moment of silence is an opportunity for reflection. The choice you make will probably be better for you if you give yourself time to consider it. There will undoubtedly be many occasions when you must make a quick choice. You won't have time then, but your efforts in the direction of making wiser choices will benefit you. Learning from your mistakes is the key to making wise decisions. If you do not set aside time to think about them, that will never happen. It would be reasonable to reflect on poor decisions you've made if you overanalyzed your prior mistakes and were overly critical of yourself. But that's not what focused times of self-analysis are for. You may assess why certain decisions worked out better than others by knowing why you made that choice and where it leads. Talking to someone who, first, has high emotional intelligence and, second, understands you, is one of the best ways to achieve this. Usually, putting your thoughts into words helps you make better decisions and advance personally. A mental heuristic is just a shortcut used to find solutions to issues quickly and successfully. Heuristic methods are used, for instance, by investors and financial experts to expedite analysis and investment decisions. For instance, representativeness heuristics are when you make choices based on what you know about past occurrences that are relevant to the present. A helpful example is provided by Investopedia. Fast food ABC expanded its operations to India and saw a sharp increase in its stock price. All fast food chains can make money in India, according to an analyst. Therefore, the analyst wasted no time in recommending fast food when XYZ declared its intention to explore the Indian market the next year. The website then highlights the possible drawbacks with this, saying, although this shortcut approach saved analyzing data for both organizations, it may not have been the greatest choice. According to studies, fast food XYZ may serve food that Indian consumers find unappealing. Unfortunately, this could result in cognitive biases. It might be simpler, for instance, to detect selfishness in those around you after reading about selfish behavior. Knowing which heuristics to employ is crucial because of this. It begins when you consider what motivates you to choose a particular course of action. How did you get there? You may be able to identify those trigger points later on by taking a step back, examining the alternatives, and then reflecting on why you decided against choosing them. Just to be clear, you don't know what you don't know. Without knowing your weaknesses, how can you ever be sure you're choosing the greatest choice? You can only identify what needs to be fixed by identifying what you don't know. Here is an example to explain this. Job searching is one of the typical, major decisions you'll have to make several times in your life. Consider the situation where you have two possibilities but are unsure about your long-term career prospects at either organization. Knowing that will provide you with the knowledge you need and put you in a position to make the best choice possible. Or, on a more intimate level, if someone asks you for advice on their life and you are unsure of all the details, getting the facts will probably be essential to determine what kind of counsel to offer. Your decisions are made in accordance with your values. Knowing them allows you to make decisions that are in line with them. Knowing the direction you wish to take your ideas and decisions is an important tool because we live in a society where decisions must be made more quickly. For instance, the kind of person you connect with and make friends with will reflect how much you value supporting people. You don't want to waste time with people who can't give you what you need, after all. You may begin with a straightforward brainstorming session. Get a journal out and spend 10 minutes writing down the things you believe are most important to you. This is effective both immediately and over time since it allows you to communicate your ideas to your subconscious mind. Discussing your values might also point you in the proper direction if you're especially getting ready for a decision. Really, of course, developing superior decision-making skills takes time. As we mentioned at the beginning, it's a skill that develops with time. This trait unites all of these advices. You can watch this video and take notes, but they are useless if you don't have enough time to put them to use. The most important talent you can develop is to cooperate with time, as you saw at the beginning of this video. Ultimately, if you make sure you're setting aside time to acknowledge and comprehend your mistakes, then mastering them will be the next inevitable step. After all, time won't wait for you, so it's time to become its ally. Have a fantastic week and thanks for watching. If you believe this video has added value to your understanding of life, please like and subscribe to the channel for more life-changing content.